Musk, there's an interview with his oldest child, I believe, who basically said that Musk said, "Don't talk Arabic. That's the language of the enemy." Okay, so to his own child. That's reported, by the way, in multiple Huffington Post, mainstream media outlets. So there's an issue there. Elon has, I think, extreme racist tendencies. That's my personal read on it. The fact that he has embraced Tommy Robinson, who himself is a known, he's a career criminal and a known race hustler in the UK. People in the UK know all about Tommy Robinson. But
Yeah.
no one in America really understands, because they've created a whole mythology that he's a journalist who's being imprisoned for exposing Muslim rape gangs, which is a total lie. Tommy Robinson's in jail for contempt of court, multiple contempts of court. And the irony is, the issue that he's most in the dock for was defamation claims made of his supposedly most famous documentary that he uses to tout his journalistic bona fides. It's the one thing that got him in prison, because it's so bad in terms of journalism. Tommy defamed a Syrian refugee named Jamal, who was a young man, and he tried to get a scoop for his right-wing mob, and he ended up, basically, it backfired. And instead of backing off, he doubled down, and that landed him in prison. So Elon Musk is basically pushing the outright lie, as is Jordan Peterson and the other people in this kind of gaggle of convenient right-wing influencers, which are really, at the end of the day, Israeli influencers or Israeli interest lobby influencers, because Tommy Robinson's been sponsored by Israeli money and Zionist money for all of his career, pretty much. So this isn't like, this is before Ezra Levant and, Rebel Media in Canada, way before that. In fact, when he was at the EDL, the English Defense League, which Tommy was the head of from 2009 to 2013, originally it was listed, the EDL's corporate status was previously the Jewish Defense League.
Right.
And so there was a Jewish branch of the English Defense League, which I believe is Rabbi Kahane in America, who's an FBI.
A Kahanist rabbi from California was one of the founders, along with a Gentile woman, I think, named Roberta Combs.
That's right.
Basically, what the EDL, the English Defense League, was when Tommy Robinson took it over, it was previously the British National Party. It was traditional far-right British politics. They didn't really, they were basically anti-Jewish. And they were a whites-only party under Nick Griffin. And then the EDL comes out, and they look the same. The aesthetic is still there, combat boots, bomber jackets, shaved heads, and they're waving Israeli flags, and they suddenly have a lot of money, and the Zionist movement is supporting them. And they join hands with Israel, and specifically the Greater Israel Project of the settler movement, to push Israel as the bulwark against the Muslim invasion of Europe. And that's where Tommy Robinson comes in. And Elon Musk was turned. Remember when he went after the ADL?
Yeah, banned the ADL hashtag. And then he made a comment about Jewish influence in the pushing the Great Replacement theory, why they themselves are promoting immigration. It was in a comment thread. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And that was the thing that he stepped in the trap. And he then gets dragged by the ear to Israel by Ben Shapiro and
no, he got dragged to Auschwitz with Ben Shapiro.
Okay.
And I mean, that's almost as bad as going to Auschwitz with the German military.
Well, so he
having to go somewhere on a plane with Ben Shapiro is like,
and a rabbi that whose family business sells sex toys, the
Shmuley Botiach.
So imagine you're the richest man in the world, and you have no power to the extent that you get dragged across the world for struggle sessions and propaganda tours in Israel and also in Auschwitz. I mean, this is ridiculous. But this is the position Elon Musk got himself into, because he himself, his politics and his understanding of nuance in politics must be so based, like, and so simple minded, that he gets caught and then he has to react and overcompensate. And he's done this multiple times.
Yeah.
And so it's incredible where he's ended up compared to where he was, just not so long ago.
Yeah, I have this story I was going to address. I don't know if we'll have time to, but I just, and you, by the way, I put on screen David Miller's piece about Tommy Robinson and the English Defense League and how it really reflects the Zionist movement influencing far-right politics in the UK and creating chaos across the country for their own interests. And it's been attacked by the very same Israel lobby it targets. But I think that piece, if you want some great background on Tommy Robinson, read that piece by David Miller at the Grayzone. Elon Musk, he's the richest man in the world. There are clearly more powerful forces that are guiding him. And he's it just feels like, just like Mark Zuckerberg getting rid of the fact checkers, that he just takes on a persona that conforms to whoever's in power.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can see how he's pushed and nudged. And, when I see him tweeting the same thing Bill Ackman's tweeting, the same thing at the same time that Barry Weiss at the so-called, Free Press or whatever her thing is, and another shapeshifter as well politically there. But and to see all these people basically on point, Jordan Peterson, all of these influencers, the Daily Wire crowd. So they're running this campaign in concert, and they think that the public hasn't worked this out yet. They think that there's people are just so stupid on his own platform. They haven't worked. Everybody's kind of worked it out. And it's a huge it's a huge L for Elon, because Tommy Robinson is a damaged brand. That's known. And everything he touches, it's like a curse. Everybody goes down with some sort of problem, and they end up having to distance themselves from him. He's toxic, but he is an important asset for the reasons which you just outlined, Max, which is this alliance between Israel and the extreme right, which has been going on for decades. This is a long-term project. And the idea is to push talking points like, to make it a clash of civilizations. If you look at Jordan Peterson's rhetoric now, it's almost like extreme clash of civilizations, almost like borderline kind of extreme Nazi kind of rhetoric, in that we can't live together. There's a problem with Islam. All of the disingenuous argument that people like Peterson and other people make in this crowd is that there's no democracies in the Islamic world. There's 80% undemocratic countries. There's something genetically wrong with these people and this administration. They're ignoring the fact that the United States and its allies have smashed every potential democratic country and Arab nationalist country, secular country in the region, including recently Syria, and then propped up all of the Gulf autocratic monarchies. And so this doesn't come into the intellectual presentation of the Dr. Jordan Peterson. This level of nuance, of course, is not what they want to get into. But this plays into the Israeli narrative, which is that Israel is a light and is a beacon of light in a world of darkness, as Geert Wilders, one of the other members of this kind of cohort, that Israel is a good example of a Muslim-free country, and that this could be the future of the region. We need to, and they're dealing with the Muslims over there, so we need to support Israel. So this is really, to me, backing for. We're seeing this public relations campaign. You have to be very worried that this is laying the groundwork for talk of a war against Iran in the coming months, and a reboot of the war on terror. That's for sure. But it's also gaslighting, because it's removing the culpability of the U.S. and its allies in putting in essentially an Islamic State in Syria, right in the middle, on Europe's border ostensibly, and right in the middle of everything. And that the West and NATO have played and Israel played the prime role in making that happen.
Yep.
So all of this noise you're seeing, all of these distractions, to me, this is a cataclysmic historical event, what happened in Damascus. I think you'll agree as well, on a cultural, civilizational level, political stability level, and it allowed Israel to gain incredible strategic advantage over Lebanon, Hezbollah. Syria is basically not on, it's a dysfunctional state, could end up like Libya. This is historic. This is like 67,
Yep.
68, 73. Nobody's talking about it.
Yep.
Nobody's talking about it. That to me is kind of what I see is what's going on here.
And here's, this relates directly to no one's talking about it. Elon Musk doesn't want anyone talking about it.